Hello, I have come and I've got my corporately mandated training video ready for you to put on your website or whatever other place you put your corporately mandated training videos.
Oh, well, thank you, Mr. Hawthorne.
Please, just call me Calypso. He's the one playing both of us anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Don't need to confuse people.
The what?
Shoot, I guess it didn't work. Well, anyway, my video should be appearing on your computer screen shortly, so let me know what you think when it gets done, alright? My name is Charles Stye. I mean Calypso Poison Frog, and I have been working in audio for many years. And ever since then, the biggest takeaway that I've had with working with audio is that working with audio is very hard. But thankfully, ever since I've been given access to this incredible studio that you see around me, I have used all these resources to fine-tune all of the audio in my productions to near perfection. And that is what the purpose of today's special presentation is going to be. I'm going to show you a whole bunch of tips and tricks on this computer that you can use in your audio. That you can do to your audio to make it sound even better than it already does when you recorded it. For instance, right now, the audio that I'm recording is coming from the phone mic, and as a result, it probably sounds absolutely terrible. But with just a pop of my mouth, it can sound much better. That's because I'm now recording my voiceover in the voiceover booth and lip syncing to it. And I've added some EQ and compression to it as well. Don't worry, we'll get to all of that in just a bit. And that bit is right now. It's very important to make sure that you're a good distance from the microphone when you're doing the voiceover. Not too close and not too far. The best distance is about however many inches I am from it at this particular piece of footage. But of course that can vary depending on what you're doing the voiceover for. Also, make sure that none of those things over there are on while you're recording. Those are the microphone signal processors, and they add little effects to the recording directly, and those can't be removed in post. The same is true if you peak while you're recording, which is when the little red thing shows up. You can mess with it a little bit in editing, but you can't fully get rid of it. It's always going to sound like that. It's better to just make sure that it doesn't happen while you're recording than try to fix it later. Speaking of fixing things later, let's go fix some things right now! The worst thing about the voice is all the noises it makes that aren't talking. Here are some examples. Ugh, disgusting! Those are always the first things to go. So to get rid of them, we have to make a little mark here and chop them off. In order to get the voiceover to sound smooth, we might add a little fade right here. Boom, automatically sounds way better. But we can do a little bit more way better. Make sure that when you're recording, you record a few seconds of silence first so you can get the room ambience. Then you can slip that into the gaps of your voiceover recording. If you're really, really astute and want it to be literally perfect, you could even put in a crossfade between the room ambience and each line of the voiceover. Crossfade just might be the best feature ever created for audio. Just this one little action can blend two pieces of audio together seamlessly. It can be used to stitch two takes of the same line together perfectly. Beautiful. I just did it right now and you didn't even notice. That's how good it is. Once that's all lined up and where we want it, we can add an equalizer, or just EQ as it's mostly called, to clean up the audio. Make it sound a little bit more, real. Here's an example. Here's my voice without EQ, and here it is with EQ. Depending on how you do it, it can really sweeten it up, which is why I often find myself calling it the Jeffrey Lingle sweetener. And if you turn it all the way down, you can make it sound like a phone or a walkie-talkie, which I think is pretty cool. This large box right here is called a compressor, and what it does is essentially level out the audio. Makes the quiet parts louder and the loud parts quieter. Incredibly useful for maintaining a more clean, consistent, and professional sound. Not to mention it just objectively sounds better. Have you heard any classical music? That stuff goes so quiet and so loud and it drives me up a wall. I swear one time I turned up my record player during one of the quiet parts, and when it got to the loud part, it blew out the speakers. Max was so angry with me after that, and ever since then, I don't like classical music anymore, only neoclassical. The final big tools in our toolbox are reverb and delay. These add a little bit of an echo to your audio, which is essential for all of your recordings. If you don't have any reverb in it, it just sounds like you're in a sensory deprivation room, and that is not good for anyone to listen to in terms of mental health. Even adding just a little bit will help a lot. Turn it up all the way and suddenly we're in a giant cathedral! The delay does what it's named after, adds a little bit of a delay to the recording. You can control how many milliseconds it lasts, just like how you control how much reverb there is. All of these features can also be applied to music recordings as well as voiceover. One great feature that Pro Tools has is the ability to write the levels of the recording in real time, so the audio can raise and lower as you control it, which is very, very useful when mixing a song. There's plenty more features and a lot more nuance to all these features, and we'll go more in depth with those in part 2. But for now, I think we've covered most of the basics. Hope you've learned something throughout this presentation, and hey, if you didn't and you knew all this already, you probably make more money annually than I do.
You're fired.
Aww.